Have you ever wondered who really holds the power in a relationship, the one who speaks the loudest or the one who can remain silent? What if the true game changer isn't in your words, your actions, or even your charm, but in your ability to walk away from needing anyone's validation? And what happens, deep down, when they realize you no longer care? Most people never stop to think about it. They get caught up in the push and pull, the endless cycle of seeking approval, giving too much, waiting for scraps of attention. But take a moment and ask yourself, what truly holds the power in any connection? Is it the constant effort, the pursuit, or is it the quiet decision to take your focus back and place it where it belongs, on yourself? What would happen if, starting today, you detached from the need for validation? What if you made your peace of mind your number one priority, above winning arguments, above winning them back, above winning anything that doesn't add to your life? And here's the thing, this isn't about manipulation. It's not about trying to play a game you've already decided you're done with. This is about something far more valuable: self-control, self-respect, and emotional mastery, the exact qualities the Stoics valued above all else. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that. It's not the world you can control. It's not their choices, their words, or their feelings. The only thing that's ever truly been yours to master is your own mind. And when you finally understand this, everything changes. Today we're going to dive deep into the psychology of detachment, what really happens when someone who once had your full attention suddenly realizes they've lost it. The shift is more than just noticeable. It's a shock to their system. It's a revelation for them. But more importantly, it's an awakening for you. Because here's the key. This isn't just about relationships. It's about mastering yourself in a world built to distract you, where desires, emotions, and constant noise are always pulling at your focus. If you've ever struggled with maintaining your power, if you've ever felt yourself slipping into the trap of needing to be seen, to be chosen, to be enough in someone else's eyes, this message is for you. And if it hits home, I want you to drop this empowering phrase in the comments right now. My peace is my power. Let's set the tone for everything that follows: self-mastery, focus, and unshakable growth. Number 1, the nature of interest. Interest is the currency of attention. In every relationship, romantic, professional, or even casual, there's an unspoken truth. The person who controls their attention controls the dynamic. When you lose interest, you're not just stepping back from the other person, you're stepping forward into your own power. That shift, it's not small, it's seismic. And it doesn't just hit them, it hits you too. Because in that moment, you reclaim something priceless: your time, your energy, your peace of mind. The world teaches us to chase, to prove ourselves, to pour endless energy into people and things that may never give back in the same way. But the Stoics, they teach a different path. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." And this isn't just about material wealth, it's about emotional wealth. When you stop chasing, you strip away the invisible chains of desire that have been keeping you bound to someone else's approval. You stop seeking permission to feel worthy, and in that moment, you set yourself free. Here's what most people don't realize. That freedom doesn't go unnoticed. When you lose interest, you create a void, a space where your energy, your attention, your presence used to live. And people notice absence far more than they notice presence. One day she'll feel it. She'll notice the shift. She'll start to ask herself, what changed? Why is his attention no longer mine? Why does it sting just a little when I'm not the center of his focus anymore? And that's where curiosity is born. That's where intrigue grows. That's where longing begins to take root. But here's the twist. When you get to this point, it's no longer about her reaction. It's about the man you've become in the process of getting there. In the last part, we uncovered that losing interest isn't about her. It's about you. It's about taking back your time, energy, and peace of mind. Now, let's look deeper at why this shift is so powerful and what happens the moment your focus turns inward. Here's the deeper truth. Losing interest is never about manipulating someone into noticing you again. It's not a trick. It's not bait. It's about choosing yourself, your growth, your stability, and above all, your peace. When you stop pouring your energy into someone else, something shifts. That energy doesn't disappear, it gets redirected inward. And when it does, you begin to build something indestructible, your own sense of self-worth. By losing interest, you don't become less. You become more confident, more focused, more grounded. This isn't about rejection. It's not about resentment. It's about liberation. It's the moment you step back into your own lane and realize something most people never do. Your energy is sacred, and not everyone is entitled to it. If this principle of self-mastery resonates with your journey, I want you to take a moment and comment below. I control what deserves my energy. Because the truth is, our energy isn't limitless, and those who receive it should earn it. Number 2. The initial shock. When a woman realizes that you've withdrawn your interest, her initial reaction is almost always the same: confusion. It's as if the unspoken rules of the game have changed overnight, and she's left wondering what happened. Why are you no longer chasing her? Why has your attention, which once flowed so freely toward her, suddenly shifted away? This moment of uncertainty is where the power dynamic begins to flip. You see, most people are conditioned to expect consistency in the attention they receive. They get used to the rhythm, the texts, the calls, the constant engagement. But when that attention vanishes without warning, it creates a void. And human nature? It hates a void. This is where dark psychology and Stoicism intersect. From a psychological standpoint, people crave what they no longer have. When you withdraw your interest, it triggers something primal: the fear of loss, the need to understand, and the urge to regain control. But here's where Stoicism sets you apart. Unlike others who might pull away out of spite, anger, or as a calculated game, the Stoic man withdraws from a place of peace and self-respect. Your withdrawal isn't a knee-jerk reaction to her behavior. It's a reflection of your values. You've chosen to prioritize your emotional balance over the fleeting highs of her attention. In this moment, she might try to explain it away. She might tell herself you're just distracted, uninterested, maybe even playing hard to get. But deep down, something tells her the truth. Something has shifted. Your absence forces her to reflect on your presence. And that's where the real impact lies. The Stoics teach us to focus only on what is within our control. Your interest, your attention, your energy, those are yours to command. The way she reacts, that's hers to deal with. You don't withdraw to provoke a reaction. You withdraw to reclaim your peace. If this principle of detachment speaks to you, drop this in the comments. I am free from external validation. Let's remind ourselves, our worth isn't tied to anyone's approval. It's tied to how we value ourselves. Number 3. The chase begins. When you stop chasing, something remarkable happens. The roles reverse. What was once taken for granted is now suddenly out of reach. The moment she senses your detachment, an instinctive response is triggered. The chase begins. This isn't just clever psychology, it's human nature. People desire what they perceive as scarce. They crave what feels like it's slipping away. At first, she might act like it doesn't matter. She might wear a mask of indifference, pretending your withdrawal doesn't bother her. But beneath that calm exterior, the loss of your attention begins to grow heavier. It lingers in the back of her mind. It makes her wonder. It makes her feel. And that, my friend, is when the dynamic changes forever. We ended last time with the moment the chase begins, when your absence turns into the very thing she can't stop thinking about. But once curiosity turns into pursuit, something even more revealing happens. At first, it's subtle. She starts to wonder, why isn't he reaching out? Did I misjudge him? Did I lose him? Forever. These questions start as whispers in her mind, but they don't stay whispers for long. Curiosity quickly transforms into longing, and as that longing grows, so does her effort to regain what she believes has slipped through her fingers. She may not even understand why she suddenly feels compelled to pull you back into her orbit. But the truth is, your absence has created space, and space can be louder than presence. The Stoic edge in the chase. Here's where the Stoic mindset gives you an undeniable advantage. You remain unmoved. You don't see her pursuit as an opportunity to prove your worth, because you've already found it within yourself. You've embraced the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Her renewed interest isn't your validation. It's simply a reflection of a shifted dynamic, a natural response to your decision to prioritize your peace and focus inward. You're no longer bound by the unspoken rules of constant attention and approval seeking. Instead, you've stepped onto a higher plane of emotional independence. This doesn't make you cold. It doesn't make you heartless. It makes you self-assured. You don't need to chase to feel worthy, because your worth has never been tied to someone else's recognition. And here's the irony. This calm confidence, this unshakable stillness, is exactly what makes you magnetic. If this truth resonates with you, type this in the comments. Still waters run deep. Because true power isn't frantic pursuit, it's calm, steady confidence. Number 4. Testing your resolve. But once the chase begins, there's another phase you need to be ready for, the test. When a woman senses your detachment and starts to pursue, she will often, consciously or unconsciously, test you. She wants to know, is your calm confidence real, or is it just a tactic to pull her back in? These tests aren't always malicious. More often, they're instinctive reactions to a dynamic that no longer feels familiar. How the tests appear. Sometimes they're subtle, a random text out of nowhere. A like on one of your old social media posts. A comment meant to spark curiosity or provoke an emotional reaction. Other times, they're more direct. She might flat out ask why you've changed. She may press you on why you seem distant. She could even challenge your motives, suggesting you're playing a game. But make no mistake, the goal is the same. To see if she can still influence you. To find out whether she can still occupy space in your mind. Where most men fail. Here's where so many men stumble. They see these moments as an invitation to re-engage. They jump back in, eager to validate themselves by showing interest again. But the Stoic man, he doesn't waver. He knows these tests are not about him, they're about her. He understands they're simply attempts to regain control over a dynamic she no longer commands. The Stoic response. This is where the wisdom of Epictetus becomes your armor. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you respond to her tests with calmness, clarity, and an unshaken demeanor, you send a powerful message. Your peace cannot be disturbed by external forces. You're not swayed by fleeting emotions. You're not hooked by attempts to manipulate your attention. And here's the beauty. Your steadiness will either intrigue her even more, or it will frustrate her. Either way, it solidifies your position as a man who cannot be easily influenced. This is the essence of power. Not dominance over others, but mastery over yourself. If you're committed to walking this path of unshakable resolve, drop this phrase in the comments. I am steadfast like a rock. Because true strength is found in your ability to remain grounded, no matter the storm. We've just talked about unshakable resolve, about standing firm when tested. But when you hold your ground long enough, something fascinating begins to take shape. Number 5. The balance of mystery and confidence. One of the most compelling effects of losing interest is the aura of mystery it creates. When you stop chasing, when you pull back your energy and your attention, you stop being predictable. You stop being easy to read. You become an enigma. And here's the undeniable truth about mystery. It's irresistible. Human nature is drawn to what it can't fully grasp, to what feels just out of reach. This is where a different kind of power emerges. Not loud, not aggressive, but subtle and magnetic. Mystery alone isn't enough, but here's the key. Mystery by itself is only half the equation. What makes it truly powerful is when it's paired with quiet, unwavering confidence. The Stoic man doesn't retreat into mystery out of fear or insecurity. He does it out of self-respect, out of self-assurance. He lives out the words of Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You don't need to chase applause or demand recognition. Your actions, your energy, your very demeanor, these speak louder than any words you could say. What happens in her mind? This balance of mystery and confidence is magnetic. She starts to wonder, what is he thinking? Why isn't he reacting like everyone else? What's changed about him? And the more she wonders, the more her focus shifts toward you. Without realizing it, she's now investing her energy into figuring you out, energy that used to be flowing in the opposite direction. Not a game, a way of being. But here's the crucial part. This isn't about manipulation or playing games. Your mystery isn't an act. It's the natural byproduct of focusing on your own growth and priorities. Your confidence isn't arrogance. It's quiet strength born from knowing your worth. When you combine genuine mystery with authentic confidence, you stand out in a world full of predictable, approval-seeking behavior. That's why this shift is so powerful. It's not built on tricks, but on truth. If this resonates with you, type this in the comments. Confidence in silence speaks louder. Because real strength lives in steady, silent self-assurance. Number 6, emotional reflection. Here's the part most people underestimate. When you lose interest, it doesn't just change her view of you, it forces her to confront herself. Your absence creates a vacuum, and in that space, she has no choice but to reflect. At first, the emotions are surface level. Frustration, confusion. She wonders, why has his attention shifted? What happened? What did I do or fail to do to cause this change? But over time, something deeper begins to take shape, self-reflection. The questions she can't avoid. She starts asking herself harder questions. Was I too complacent? Did I take his presence for granted? Was I so focused on myself that I didn't see what I was losing? From a dark psychology perspective, this is where scarcity amplifies value. Human beings instinctively place greater worth on what feels rare or on what they're in danger of losing forever. And now, without you even trying, your absence has done what constant presence never could. It has made her reassess your value. We've seen how emotional reflection reshapes her perception of you. But when you remain centered long enough, the message your absence sends becomes impossible to ignore. Unattainable. The silent signal of strength. Your absence, your withdrawal, it communicates something few men ever have the courage to say without words. I am not dependent on you. My energy is not unlimited. It's not arrogance. It's not bitterness. It's truth. And the moment she realizes this truth, it forces her to reevaluate everything she thought she knew about you. She replays old conversations in her head. She remembers the way you used to show up and compares it to the man she sees now. And in that reevaluation, you don't shrink in significance, you grow. But here's the Stoic reality. This was never about trying to pull her back in. From the Stoic perspective, her emotional reflection is her journey, not yours. You didn't withdraw to make her chase. You didn't step back to manipulate her emotions. You withdrew because your peace and your self-worth are priorities. And that realization, that you're willing to walk away to protect them, is where your power truly lies. Control the controllable, release the rest. The beauty of this process is how perfectly it mirrors one of the core principles of Stoicism. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Her reflection, her emotions, her eventual response, these are beyond your control. What matters is how you maintain your composure, your confidence, and your focus on your own growth. If this resonates, drop this phrase in the comments. I am the prize. Let's remind ourselves daily, our value is not defined by how others perceive us, but by the truth we hold about ourselves. Number 7. Your power in emotional independence. There's a rare kind of strength that comes from emotional independence. When you lose interest and detach from the constant need for validation, you step into a place of unshakable power. Not because you've shut yourself off from others, but because you've built a foundation within yourself that no one else can topple. What emotional independence really means. Emotional independence is what separates the Stoic man from the rest. As Seneca wisely said, a wise man is content with what he has, no matter how little. This isn't about rejecting connection or avoiding love. It's about approaching relationships from a place of wholeness, not need. You're no longer relying on someone else to fill a void, because there is no void. You've done the work to fill it yourself. How she sees you now, when she realizes this, it changes everything. Emotional independence is magnetic because it's rare. Most people are trapped in a constant cycle of seeking attention, seeking approval, seeking meaning in others. But when you break free from that cycle, you stand out. You show her something different, something stronger. You show her that you're not just a man. You're a man of depth, discipline, and inner strength. The shift in respect. This independence forces her to rethink her perception of you. She may have once believed she had you figured out, that your interest was guaranteed, your attention a constant. But now she sees someone who's himself too much to be dependent on another's validation. And in that shift, you command respect, not through force, not through control, but through the quiet power of self-mastery. The Stoic truth about happiness. Remember, this isn't about creating distance for the sake of control. It's about aligning with the Stoic principle that your happiness comes from within, not from anything outside of you. You've embraced the truth that in this life, the only thing you truly own is your response to it. If this resonates, type this phrase in the comments: I thrive in my independence. Because the man who can stand alone, complete in himself, is the man no storm can shake. Number 8, why you should stay detached. Detachment isn't about being cold. It's not about being unfeeling. It's about being in control, calm, steady, and unmoved by the shifting tides of someone else's emotions. When you choose to detach, you're making a bold, unspoken declaration. My happiness, my peace, and my purpose are mine, and no one else's to give or take away. Number 8, why you should stay detached. Your happiness, your peace, your purpose, these are not tied to anyone else. This truth is a radical shift from the way most people live. Most men walk through life constantly entangled in the emotions, opinions, and expectations of others, forever at the mercy of someone else's moods. But why should you stay detached? Because detachment is freedom. It liberates you from the exhausting roller coaster of seeking validation, approval, and attention. It pulls you out of the storm and places you firmly on solid ground, aligned with one of the most profound Stoic truths. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. The moment you stop letting external forces dictate your mood, you take back your strength. The moment you refuse to be emotionally yanked in every direction, you reclaim control of your life. The calm that commands respect. When you remain detached, you stop being reactive. Her words, her actions, even her attempts to provoke you, they lose their grip. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond deliberately. Instead of emotion clouding your vision, clarity becomes your compass. This level of composure is magnetic because it's rare. It shows that your life is guided by your values, not by fleeting feelings. Detachment is not disconnection. Here's the key. Staying detached doesn't mean cutting yourself off from connection. It doesn't mean avoiding love or refusing closeness. It means approaching relationships from a place of abundance, not scarcity. You're not desperate to hold on to anyone because you already have everything you need within yourself. You engage because you choose to, not because you have to. That mindset makes you both more attractive and more fulfilled. A lifelong practice detachment isn't something you do once. It's a way of life. It's a mindset you cultivate daily. When you stay focused on your goals, your growth, and your inner peace, you naturally start prioritizing what truly matters, and you effortlessly let go of what doesn't. If this resonates, type this in the comments. I am my best investment. Let's affirm that the time, energy, and effort we pour into ourselves will always yield the greatest returns. Number 9. Why detachment attracts respect. When you practice detachment, something fascinating happens. You begin to attract respect, not just attention. Attention can be shallow, it can be fleeting, it can vanish the moment you're no longer entertaining someone. But respect is earned. And it's earned when people recognize you as a man who lives on his own terms. The rare signal of true strength: you don't cling, you don't chase. You don't require external validation to feel whole. That kind of independence is rare. And rare things are valued. People are naturally drawn to those who are secure in themselves. Your detachment signals that you can thrive with or without someone's presence in your life. You've built an inner world so rich, so fulfilling, that you aren't endlessly searching for someone else to complete you. Boundaries that protect your peace. Respect also flows from the boundaries you set. When you detach, you send a silent but unmistakable message. I value myself enough to never tolerate what disrupts my peace or pulls me away from my purpose. These boundaries don't push the right people away, they filter them. The ones who respect you will be drawn closer by your confidence. The ones who would have taken advantage will realize they can't. Self-respect comes first. And here's the critical truth. This respect doesn't just come from others, it begins with you. By practicing detachment, you teach yourself to respect your own time, your own energy, and your own emotions. You remind yourself daily that you are worthy of peace, that your worth is not defined by someone else's actions or opinions, that your life belongs to you and you alone. Number 10. A Stoic approach to relationships. Respect, unlike attention, is lasting. Attention may flicker in and out like a candle in the wind, but the respect you earn through detachment is anchored in something unshakable, your character. If this resonates, drop this in the comments. Respect flows from self-respect, because the way you treat yourself sets the standard for how the world will treat you. Losing interest. Not a game, but a return to self. Understand this. Losing interest is not about playing games, manipulating emotions, or trying to gain control over someone else. It's about reclaiming the control that has always been yours. It's about realizing that your peace, your focus, and your energy are your most valuable assets, and refusing to waste them on people who don't value them. When you release the need for validation or constant attention, you don't lose anything. You gain something far greater: freedom. The Stoic's simple but profound rule. The Stoic approach to relationships can be summed up in one sentence: focus only on what is within your control. You can't control how someone feels about you. You can't control their reactions. You can't control whether they see your value. But you can control how you carry yourself. You can control how you respond. You can control how much energy you choose to give. Care deeply, but never lose yourself. Detachment is not coldness, it's balance. You can care, but you don't cling. You can love, but you don't lose yourself in the process. When a woman senses that you've lost interest, it's not just a shift in the relationship, it's a shift in your self-perception. Her reaction, whether confusion, pursuit, or reflection, is secondary. The real victory is the inner lesson you've embraced. Your worth was never tied to someone else's opinion. The foundation that can't be shaken. You've built your life on self-respect, self-discipline, and self-mastery. In the end, your calm, your confidence, and your detachment will set you apart from most men. They will lift you above the emotional chaos that traps so many relationships in cycles of insecurity and reaction. By living out Stoic principles, you don't just change the way others respond to you, you change who you are at your core. Love with wisdom, live with peace. So as you move forward, remember this: detachment is not the absence of love, it is the presence of wisdom. And wisdom, grounded in self-control, will allow you to thrive in every part of your life, whether in relationships, career, or personal growth. If this message speaks to you, type this in the comments: I'm in control of my destiny. Let's inspire each other to rise above distractions and remain anchored to what truly matters. And if you found value here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your journey to mastering yourself and your relationships begins now. Until next time, stay grounded, stay wise, and always choose peace.